Okay class, so today is lecture number 16, week number 3, and the topic is bearings. Now first thing, what is bearings? Bearings basically it is an angle measurement, right? It is an angle measurement. Now when we talk about angle measurement, obviously we need to define its direction, whether it is a clockwise or it is a anti-clockwise, right? So bearing is angle measurement in a clockwise direction always. You can't measure bearings in anti-clockwise. So bearing is an angle measurement and we measure in clockwise direction. Now the starting point, we start it from the north. So you can say that it always measures from north, right? While during bearings, all of you must aware of the compass or scale, right? We have north, south, west, east, right? So bearing always starts from the north in a clockwise direction and it is an angle measurement. Now whenever it says find the bearing of A from B, keep in mind whatever the letter is after the word from, you need to make a scale on that point, right? Or you can say that in this scenario the north of B is very important, as you will start from here. From B to A you are going to measure your angle, right? After that, while doing bearings, you have a good concept of alternate angles, right? I will explain it to you as well, but we have a good concept of alternate angles because we are repeatedly using it in bearings. You must know that answer of bearing, it must be in 3 digits always. Let's suppose if your answer is 86 degrees of bearing, so you will write it 086 degree. So that is the rule to define the bearing, that it must be always in 086. But let's suppose if your angle is 272, now it is already in 3 digits, so no need to write or no need to add 0 at the beginning. Now the question arises that why we study bearings? What is the application? The major application of bearings used in airplanes and ships, right? Now consider this scenario. Let's suppose that this is a sea, right? And ship is here. So how can the pilot determine that in which direction he should lead? So he can set his direction with the help of bearings. So the greatest application of bearings are airplanes and ships, right? So these are the important rules of a bearings. Before starting bearings, I am going to explain you alternate angles because we are going to use it in our topic. Now for alternate angles, keep in mind that you have parallel lines, right? So what are parallel lines? Those lines which can never be meet are called parallel lines, right? So there is an example of parallel lines. Now if a single line cut these two parallel lines, then we say that this angle and this angle, they are equal, and we refer that angle as alternate angles, right? Alternate angles. Either the lines are horizontal or the lines are vertical, concept remains same. This angle and this angle are same in a case of parallel lines. So keep in mind that alternate angles exist only where there are parallel lines. If the lines are not parallel, you cannot conclude that the angles are alternate. So first thing, you must be clear regarding the parallel lines, right? Now the second important thing, I'm going to write it down. Second important thing, that was first one, the concept of parallel lines, that is first one. Now the second one is, let's suppose you have a scale, right? North, south, west, east. The angles are, so let's say that it is your north, right? North, south, west, east. That is very important explanation, so listen carefully. If you are traveling from north till east, that means you covered an angle of 90 degree. So in first quadrant we have an angle of 90 degree. If you are traveling from north till south, keep in mind that we always move in clockwise direction in bearings. So this angle is 180 degree, right? The third one, if you are traveling from north till west, always in a clockwise direction, then you have covered 270 degree. And the last one, if you travel from north and cover the whole circle, so it will be 360 degree. These four quadrants are very important. These two things which I have explained, these are the backbone of the topic bearings. If you have a good understanding of these two properties, trust me, this topic will be easy for you. Now, all the points you should note it down, right? I am going to give you some examples so that you have an idea how we going to solve bearings, right? So let's suppose, example, I have a point A, right, and there is a point B, there is a point C, and we are at north of A, right? Now let's suppose this angle is 30 degrees and this angle is 50 degrees. Question says find bearing of B from A, part 2, C from A, right? So come back to the rules of bearings. It says A from B means scale must be at B, the word written after the word from. So if it says B from A or C from A, that means we need to take the north of A. The north of A is already highlighted in the question, right? That is the north of A. That means we need to travel from this point until we reach the line B. So if I am going from this point till this line, how many degrees I have covered? It's very simple that I have covered 30 degrees, right? And we know that bearing always write in 3 digits, so it will be 030 degree. That is your first part answer, right? So bearing is what? Bearing is an angle measurement. When we talk about angle measurement, we need a direction. The direction is clockwise. After that we need a starting point. The starting point is north. So we measure the direction, we measure the angle in a clockwise direction. It starts from north. That is called bearing, right? Now the second part, C from A. So I am going to travel from the north of A until the line AC, right? So I am standing at this point, this one, right? I am starting travel. Till this point I have covered 90 degree as discussed here, right? From north till east I have covered 90 degree. That means from the north till this line I have covered 90 degree. Did I reach the line C? No. because for that purpose I need to travel 50 degree more, then I will reach C. So how many degrees I had covered? At first I had covered 90 degrees. After that I had covered 50 degrees to reach my destination, that is line C. So total I had covered 140 degree. Now this 140 is already in 3 digits, no need to add 0 at the beginning. That is our answer. Right? Moving on to some more examples. Now keep in mind, in short and in easiest way, bearing is what? You need to cover a distance but in terms of angles. That is very important. Now I am going to write it down. You need to cover distance in terms of angle. That is bearing is all about. Okay, so moving to the next example. Okay, so let's suppose this is point P, and in this part I am going to draw 4 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I am going to label them Q, R, S, T, and the angles I will take 20, 20, 20 and then 20. Right, so now there are 4 parts. It says find bearing part 1, Q from P, part 2, R from P, part 3, S from P, and part 4, T from P. So there are 4 parts, 4 lines, right? So we need to find the bearing of each individual line at first point. Now step by step. At first point we need to highlight the north of P, because in every case the word P is written after the word from, right? So first thing, highlight the north. I am going to highlight the north of P. So that is the north of P. First step done, right? Now the second one. Second one is what? Distance one, right? So you need to travel from the north of P till the point Q. It is very important, it is very beneficial for you if you highlight the angle in your figure, right? So from the north of P, this point, you can pick any point, it's up to you, right? From the north of P, I am going to travel till I reach the line Q, like here, right? So at this point I reached the line Q, but what degree did I cover? Now we know that this angle is 90, right? So we need to subtract 20 from 90. So for first part, working will be 90 minus 20, that is equals to 70. But it is not our final answer, we need to add 0 at the beginning. That is our final answer, 070 degrees. Listen again. What we were looking for? We were looking for an angle. From where to where? From the north of P till the line Q. This angle is what we are looking for. We know that if we travel from north till east, we covered angle of 90. So this angle 20 is given. If we subtract this angle from 90, we can get this angle, right? Okay. For part 2, It says R from P. Now again, what you guys need to do, first the starting point. I am going to do it with the blue pen. So starting point at P, let's suppose I say that this is my starting point. From the north of P until I reach the line R. So I am going to start my journey from here. From here till this point I had covered 90, right? If I continue my journey until I reach this line, this one, until I reach this one, basically that is the south, right? So I started my journey from the north and covered the angle of 180 degree, but then I realized I have come across the line R, right? I need to stop there. I had covered the 20 degree extra, right? My journey should be finished till here, right? From the north till here, that is my journey, and I had covered 20 degree extra, but no problem. We know that if we travel from north till south, it will be 180 degree, right? So 180 is a total, and we had covered 20 degree extra. So if we subtract 20 from 180, we will get our final bearings, that is 160 degree. Now 160 is which angle? From the north until you meet the line R, that is the angle 160 degree. I hope that it clears in your mind a little bit. If you say that 10% is clear, it is quite enough for me. Moving forward, now it says S from P. At first ask yourself a question: what should be the first step? The first step is you need to highlight the point at the north of P. I am going to do the same. So this time I am going to use red pen. From the north of P I highlighted the point. Till P I need to travel to S, but in a clockwise direction, keep in mind. So north till S, till now I had covered 90, right? Moving on, till now I had covered 180, but that is not my destination, because I wanted to go and meet at point S, line S, right? So I need to move further. After that, after the coverage of 20 degree, finally I reach the line S. So in terms of degree, how much angle I had covered? I know that from north till south the angle is 180, right? So I am going to write it down. From north till south the angle is 180 degree, and I need an extra 20 to reach the point S. For extra I need to add 20, and it will be 200 degree. It's also a 3 digit, no need to add 0 at the beginning, right? The last one, T from P. So this time I am going to use black pen. Yes. So from the north I need to travel from north till the line T. That means I need to travel this whole journey, right? Keep in mind, always move in a clockwise direction, right? So I am starting my journey from the north till this point I had covered 90. After that I had covered 180. Moving on I had covered 270, and moving on I had covered 360. But what I realized, that I had covered 20 degree extra. So if from 360 degree I subtract this 20 part, so that will be my bearing that I was looking for, right? So it will be, for last part, 360 minus 20, it will be 340 degree, right? So that's how we measure bearings. I hope that now you have a little bit idea how to find bearings, right? Moving on, one more example, but this time make sure that you attempt it first. Let me draw the question for you, and this time there will be 8 parts. Similar question like the previous one, but a little bit modification after the 4th part. So first fourth part are same. I'm going to label it, it's O, the origin, point A, point B, point C, and point D. Also I'm going to label this one north, south, west, and east. Now the question is, first angles. So I'm going to give you the angles 30, 30, 30, 30. Right, now questions. Find bearing of first part A from O, second part B from O, third part C from O, and fourth part D from O. These 4 parts you need to try first. I am not saying that you got the correct answer, I am saying that you need to try first. Okay, so stop the video right now and try it by yourself. Take your time. If you are taking 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, no problem. It is just the beginning, but try it by yourself first. So the solution will be, first step, always highlight the unknown angle. In first part, if it says A from O, so I am talking about the north of O, that is mentioned. I am going to shade it with the yellow. Yes, so highlight it the north of O. Now highlight the unknown angle from the north till the line A. That means we are talking about this angle, right? This angle is our bearing, that is unknown. We know that from north till east we covered an angle of 90 degree, right? If I subtract 30 degree from this whole angle of 90 degree, I can get this green angle, right? So first answer, 90 minus 30, it is 60, but it must be in 3 digits, so that is your first part answer. I hope that mostly of you have attempted first part, and I hope that all of you have done it right. Next part, B from O, the same strategy. The starting point is north of O till the point B. So first thing, I am going to highlight the unknown angle. This angle is unknown, right? Okay, how we are going to find? I am going to use this 30 angle. How? Let's suppose I was traveling to my friend. I was standing at north and I was driving the car, right? Driving the car, I had covered an angle of 90 degree, driving, and I will reach at this point. And then I realized that I came at the wrong position, or you can say that I covered an extra distance, right? So what I will do? I will go backwards or reverse my car, right? So at first what I did, I covered an angle of 180 degree, and then I realized that I had covered 30 degrees extra. If I subtract these 30 degree, I can reach this point, that is my goal. So 180 minus 30, it's 150 degree, and that is our answer. Since it's already in 3 digits, that's why no need to add 0 in the beginning. So that is part 2 answer, right? Moving on to the third part. It says C from O. C from O, again the same strategy, right? The first point remains same, that you need to highlight the angle, right? So starting from the north until the line C. So let's travel from the line. Did I reach the point C? No, no, yes. But the same scenario. Let's suppose I was listening the music and I got distracted, and instead of reaching there, I reached there. So I know that from north till west, it's an angle of 270, right? It's an angle of 270, and I can subtract 30 from 270 like we did in our last part. That was extra one. So the bearing is 240 degree, right? And this 40 is basically from north till the line C, the one we are looking for, right? Now the last part. In your last part, again the same scenario, starting from the north, driving my car, and covers 90, covers 180, covers 270, and now I need an extra 30 degree to reach the point D. So it will be 270 plus 30 degree, that is 300 degree. So these 4 parts, I hope that now these 4 parts are clear to you, right? Now I'm not going to explain further in this diagram, so I'm going to make another one. Now the second step, let's suppose that this is point P, it's a north of P, and that is line Q, and we have an angle of 30 degree. Now there are 2 parts in this question. First, find bearing of, the first part is P from Q, and the second one is Q from P, right? So there are 2 parts of the same question. Now there is a difference. The one I've explained you, this one, there is a difference of this point. Keep in mind that whatever word written after the word from, you need to plot the scale on this point, right? Now come back to our question. Find the bearing of Q from P. If it says Q from P, then we are talking about the north of P, and north of P is highlighted. So it is very simple. We are looking for this angle. We know that this angle is 90, so it will be very simple. 90 minus 30, that is 60, and we will write 060. But the problem is, what about this one? It says P from Q. Is there any north of Q present here? No. For that reason, you need to plot the north on this point. You need to plot it, right? So now I have plotted the north of Q, the first condition. The word after the word from, we need to take north of this point, right? After the north, second step, highlight the unknown angle. Now we are looking for angle which starts from the north of Q and ends on that line that connects P and Q, this angle. That is our angle theta, what we are looking for, right? And the third step, now I'm going to write it down. Step 1, make north. Step 2, highlight your angle. Highlight unknown angle. And step 3, that is very important, identify alternate angles. Identify alternate angles. Now keep in mind, when you have more than one north, they all are parallel. They all are parallel always. All scales are parallel to one another. All scales, scale means compass. All scales are parallel to one another. Right? All scales are parallel to one another. So what you guys need to do now, you need to find the alternate angle. Now I am going to highlight the Z. Right, that is my Z. Z indicates that if this angle is 30, then this angle will always be 30. That is the property of alternate angles. And step number 4, find your bearings. Right, so your bearing is what? Starting with the north, right? 90, 180, 270 till here, and then you need to subtract 30. So it will be 270 minus 30 is equals to 240 degrees. Now these points where you need to apply, these point applies where you draw north. Like this question, we draw north here, right? That's why we need to apply these 4 steps. In part 2, we didn't draw the north, so that's why there in this part there is no concept of alternate angles. So whenever you draw the north, keep in mind that now you need to follow all these 4 steps. Right? I hope that all of you have noted the lecture till now. Now we are going to start some of the book questions. In your book, question number 1, you need to try it by yourself. It's exercise 9B. Question number 1, you need to try it by yourself. The same example I covered above. So starting with question number 2. So question number 2 has 6 parts, and I am going to cover only 3 of them. Rest 3 you will do it by yourself, because again I have explained you in the above examples. So let's suppose I have line this one and I have line this one. So this line is A and P, this one is C. Angles known as 35 and 47 degrees, right? So what you guys need to do, find the bearing of A from P. I'm going to write it down, A from P. So A from P, highlight the angle north of P, right? A from P means that you are looking for this angle. Now we know that this angle is 90, so it will be 90 minus 35, that will be 55. It must be 3 degrees, so it is 0.55, right? Now you need to try this question by yourself. I will start the next class from the same question, right? So try it by yourself, and question number 1 is your homework. I will start the next class from the same question. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.